Okay, I gave you a full minute. Epidemic, instrumental, Jimmy's royalty-free music, which we have quietly in the background, so we can continually stream. You know, streaming in the internet business means you need to have a constant signal of some kind flowing through the pipes, or you might lose somebody. So that's why we always have a little music in the background. So we constantly stream, because I've known to have lost a couple along the way. This is a simulcast. It's broadcasting on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. Twitter Live. This X is making me crazy. Our handles are FAU for you, the @ FAU for you, and you can find us. Or you can just say Jim Wilson's Simulcast. There's keywords, and you can probably find us somewhere in internet land. You notice the streamer up on the top in yellow. We generally broadcast from 9 a.m., starting 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on weekdays. But on every other Wednesday, I have some sweet young ladies that come in here and clean up the joint. They mop and clean and mop and vacuum. Oh my God, they vacuum. They drive my cats crazy because they mop everything. They get all this cat hair up and they suck and they blow and they dust and they mop. Oh, yes. So that goes on, like 10:30 to 11:30. Today it was about 10:30 to 11:30. Yep. Today there were 3 ladies. Generally there are 2 ladies. So I guess the head lady, Erica, is breaking in some new people maybe. Or maybe she's got a lot of, apartments to do. She's got 4 in this building. So that's nice. You ride up and down the elevator instead of driving all over the place. So she can be a little more efficient. Yep. So I was noticing, I'm going to shrink this down. That 538. You ever heard of 538? FIVETHIRT 38. 538. Or you can just put in the numbers 538. He has determined, Nate Silver is his name. He's, like a political statistician. And I'm trying to find his, let me do screenshots. And I'm screening through, as you can tell, at gold prices. We'll talk about that in a minute. But 538. He's determined that although Kamala might have the popular vote, which is totally irrelevant, the media likes to talk about it because it belittles Trump. Because we are a federal republic of states, and balls and strikes don't count, only home runs. Well, a home run is an electro vote, not a hit, not a run, not a grand slam. Those are all very nice things to have happen to you. But, they don't count. The only thing that counts is electoral votes. And electoral votes are cast by electors in each state. So, for example, in the state of Ohio, in the state of Florida, let's just pick Florida, for example. I think we have 30 House of Representatives. Well, that's the number of electoral college votes that you get. It's based on the number of representatives you have in Congress. Let's do favorites. Sorry, Bob. So, it does not matter how many hits or runs, base hits. It's home runs. Well, in national elections, like presidential elections, since we are a federal republic of states, each state casts their vote for a president. In this case, the two that successfully won nominations, Kamala Harris and Trump. And, and you've heard things like, the swing states. Wisconsin is a swing state. Okay? Texas is not. Shouldn't be. We think that's mostly a red state. Florida is a red state. Georgia is a swing state, apparently. In other words, razor sharp margins of victory one way or the other. So you never know. One presidential cycle, the electoral college votes were for the Republican candidate. 4 years later, the other candidate gets all electoral college votes. So it's an all or nothing election with regard to the electoral college. So if we had, I'm going to just round up, let's say Florida had 20 million votes cast. Let's say it was 10 million for Trump plus one and 10 million for Harris minus one. In other words, 9,999,999 votes for Harris. But Trump got 10 million plus one. He would then get all 30 of the electors in the Electoral College. And so on and so on. Now, it could be a bigger majority of votes. It can be a minority. It has to be a majority vote, which means 50% plus one. Okay? 50% plus one of those that vote. So if you had 20 million population of Florida, that determines the number of electors. But let's say only 10 million voted. And Trump got just over. In other words, he got 5 million plus one vote. And Harris got 5 million less one vote. Trump would get all 30 electors in the Electoral College. And so on and so on and so on for all the states. So even though in like California, where Harris would get a supermajority of those that voted in California, she'd only get, the 53 or 54 electoral college votes. I forget how many representatives they have there. There can't be more than, in other words, 270. 269, each candidate getting 269 electoral votes would be a tie. And if there's a tie in the electoral college votes, then it goes to the House of Representatives, and they vote to pick the president. How amazing would that be? So, if you get 270, then the other candidate gets 268. Yep. That's the way it goes. You can have a tie, 269 to 269. In which case, the House of Representatives then would pick the president. They would meet in special session and cast their votes for the president. Now, Nate Silver, you see this graph? Well, the top one here in red, hopefully you can see it's red. I'm going to do a reverse pinch just to move this over like that. There you go. So, Trump, this is what Nate Silver jams all this polling information into his models. And then he, based on 40,000 simulations, you can see Trump's red line, which right around halfway through this graphic shows that Trump is, below the 50% mark. And now he's up 56.7%. So there is in all the statistical models that he's run, which represented by 40,000 simulations. I'm reading that from the top of his little descriptor there. So the big picture, the chance of each candidate has of winning electoral college or the popular vote in the 2024 election is and our best predictions of the outcome based on 40,000 simulations from our model. Trump has a 56.7% probability. How about that? For winning sufficient electoral college votes, which he says is 272.9. The predicted electoral college votes, 272. I don't know if you can get a 0.9. I should have done a little rounding there because I don't think you can get 9/10 of a person. Remember, they're electors. Those are people. So we'll round up for them. 273 electoral college votes is what the predicted electoral college vote count would be. And Harris would get 265.1. 56.7% probability. Now, in the popular vote, which doesn't, I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, that's like an ego thing. Well, I got more votes. It's like saying, if if only one home run was scored for Trump and no home runs were scored for the Harris team, but the Harris team got 39 base hits. Okay? Trump wins because he got more home runs. Base hits don't count. Balls and strikes don't count. Only home runs. They add them up for each of the 9 innings. And whoever has the most home runs. Period. Base hits don't count. How many hits you got? Doesn't count. How many times you got on second base? Doesn't count. Because unless it's a home run, all that other stuff is fluff. Usually for losers. Because only home runs count. Not the popular vote nationally, the popular vote for each state. And if a candidate gets 50% of those that voted plus one, then all electors go for that candidate, which I used an example of Trump. If Trump got 50.1% of the vote of the people that voted, remember, it's not of the people that can vote, it's of the people that actually vote. Yep, that's how it works. The actual percentage. So, if there were 3 people that voted, and 2 voted for Trump and 1 voted for Harris, Trump wins. If 1,000 people voted in the state, and Trump got 501 votes, then Harris got 499. Yeah. %50 plus 1. If 1,000 people voted and Trump got 501 votes, he wins all electors for that state. That's how it works. Home runs, baby. Popular vote doesn't count. I mean, it's like, you may as well be talking about the weather. Well, it rained. Well, it didn't rain. It doesn't matter. Home runs matters. Anyway, 60 days, we're about 60 days away from an election, right? Something about like that. On November 5th. So maybe we're 61 days away. Wow. 2 months more of all this baloney. It's not baloney, it's important stuff. There was a recent article. The Republicans aren't going to want to see this one, but I'm going to show you anyway. Oh, gosh. Come on, baby. There we go. I can't figure out how to, this new, gosh darn it, there we go. All right, let's, here's, I always like to lead in what the New York Post has to say about things. The New York Post. The Late City Final Edition, Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. Sunny and 77 degrees. New York Post. owned by Jeff Bezos. So it is not a right-leaning paper. It is a left-leaning paper. But aside from that, the headline news here: caught red-handed. Your governor's former chief aide has been indicted. How would you like that? Woo! Here we go. There she is, caught red-handed. There's the whole front page. I guess I should... producer, make that full screen. There we go. The producer is me, myself, and I. Remember, this is a simulcast with 3 people working in the studio here. Me, myself, and I. And myself happened to be, pull the short straw, happens to be the producer who works the graphics part of this exercise. Caught red-handed. Who shall aid? Charged as Chinese spy. Now, if we want to read that story, some fine print there. We can come over here and do a little reverse pinch on that. There we go. A former aide to Governor Cuomo and Hushel. Name is, there she is. Nice looking Chinese lady. Linda Sun, S-U-N, was a secret Chinese agent, the U.S. government alleges. She promoted Chinese interests and stopped the governors from meeting with Taiwanese officials. In exchange, she and her husband received millions of dollars. And they bought a large house on Long Island, probably on the North Shore, and another condominium in Honolulu. And they had fancy cars, including a Ferrari. They had more than one car. So they had 2 fancy cars, one of which was at least a Ferrari. There she is. Donald Trump is pressuring Republicans to shut down the government. I think September 30. Yeah. The deadline to fund the government is September 30. That is the end of the fiscal year of the United States government. Its financial statements don't end at the calendar year end. It ends on September 30. So October 1st is Happy New Year for the U.S. government's financial statement. There are a number of companies that have decided to, pick certain year-end dates as the end of their annual activities. Most companies have, gotten out of that habit because, if they're big companies, they're probably global, and, you don't even know what day of the week it is. So they just decided that, hell, we'll just go with calendar year end. So, December 31st at 11:59 plus 1 day equals January 1st, which is the new year. So all the stuff behind that date for the preceding year are bundled together. The sales data and everything is all counted as of 12:31 at midnight, or actually 11:59.99 seconds. And then at 12:01, it's the new year. So September 30 is the end of our year here, because we have a different end to the U.S. government's financial statement. There's probably a reason why they made it September 30. Maybe because everybody else is closing out on 12/31, and we want to make sure we have enough accountants to add and subtract for the U.S. government's financial statement, which ends September 30. Well, we have to fund. Since we have deficit spending, meaning that Biden is spending more than we get in, not uncommon for, administrations. But it happens. In other words, they hand out more money than they get. So the deadline to fund the government is September 30. Trump is pressuring Republicans to shut down the government at the end of the month. If Congress doesn't pass a bill establishing election rules nationwide. In other words, since it's a national election, we got to have special rules that are officiated by each state. Now, each state has election rules, but Trump is saying we want the U.S. government, we want national rules to be effective in all states, consistent with each other. And particularly non-citizens cannot vote. It's actually not in the Constitution, but it is implied that voters are citizens. You can't hold public office unless you're a citizen also. Now, you can be a naturalized citizen, you can be a natural-born citizen. If you're born in the United States, you are a U.S. citizen by a function of law. You're automatically capable of voting once you get old enough, like 18 years old, in the state of New York, state of California, or, whatever. But Trump wants, since we have all this illegal alien activity floating around, we just want to codify all the rules are for who's allowed to vote. We need proof of the citizenship to vote. In a bid to target non-citizen voting, which is already illegal, we still want an affirmative rule saying no citizens vote. So that's the big deal for the September 30 Congress. The U.S. urges changes to Israel's evacuation in Gaza. And apparently we got a leaked memo, says Kat Lonsdorf, the editor-in-chief and final reviewer of written facts in the election. U.S. urges changes to Israel's evacuations in Gaza. This election is going to be a real mess. Hopefully, one candidate or the other wins. You only need 50% plus one. But I hope one candidate wins. One or two candidates is going to win each state. And I just hope they're not skinny. Like 1 year, the state of Florida ended up with, it got down to, it was really close. And it got down to 500 votes in the state of Florida. I remember, they actually went to, they had it certified in Washington. 1 year, the vote was so close. I think it was the year 2000 with the Bush. Yep. Bush. There was litigation. Bush v. Gore. Bush versus Gore. And the federal government was called in because they had recounts. Recount this county. Recount that county. They had recounts coming out of their ears. So the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court said, "Enough is enough." What was the final vote tally for Palm Beach County? Sir, 503 votes more for Trump, or for Bush versus Gore. Gore loses by 503 votes, or Trump wins by 503 votes. Either way you're looking at it, it's going to look like that. So that was the end of it. He finally put the final slam, and it's still young in here. We're searching quietly for the final. You remember the hanging Chad? Was a guy with a magnifying glass was, looking at these punch cards. There was a time where the state of Florida, they gave you these, an IBM punch card. And every dimple was half pre-cut. You had to push it out the rest of the way with this little pin that you went through. You turn the pages and then you stick your little pin in the hole, and it would the pin would then continue on to the punch card, which was locked in place. And that particular location was then scanned by a scanner, and it said, "Aha, you must be voting for Bush." Now, if you had two punches, that would be a problem. That would be considered, I think they called it an overvote, where you voted too many times in one question, in which case there's no vote. They won't count, two votes. You only get one vote per candidate. And if you vote for two candidates in the same election, so to speak, then you get neither vote in each election. In other words, they'll not count more than one vote for an election. And you might have 2 or 3 elections going on at the same time with your balloting. Meaning you might have a vote for a senator and a congressman or 2 or 3. Well, you have to vote for all your congressmen. I don't think you can vote for all of them with a single vote. You would have to... Each congressman has their own election and requires 50% plus 1 for whatever jurisdiction is outlined for the... which represents, the number of votes for your particular, county. If it's a county election, then 50% plus 1 in your county. If it's a statewide election, like a U.S. senator, then it would be 50% of those voting for Senate plus 1. It's 50% of those that voted plus 1. Yep. It's not 50% of everyone that could vote. It's 50% of those that actually voted. So if you only have 3 voting, you have to get 2 out of 3. If you had 100 voting, then you have to get 51 votes to get a majority. 50% plus 1. 50% on the calendar right there. Yep. All right, let's look at this real clear politics. September 4 polling. Now this is some of them are nationwide polls. You see the first one listed here is Arizona, Trump versus Harris. Okay? For Arizona. This is in Arizona. It's done by CNN. Trump gets 49%, Harris 44%. So Trump's up by 5 for Arizona. Nevada, Trump, remember Arizona is a border state to Mexico. Nevada is not a border state to Mexico. The polling that this CNN poll did, Harris gets 48% and Trump gets 47% of those people that were polled. Harris plus 1. Arizona, Trump plus 5. Pennsylvania, so one would consider Nevada a swing state because it's, plus 1 is like a tie. It's too close. It's statistically too close to call it for one party or the other. So, Pennsylvania, according to CNN polling, 47-47, it's a tie. Michigan, there's Trump voting, polling. Harris 49, Harris 48, Trump 43, Kennedy 4, Oliver 1, Stein less than 1, and there's nothing for West. There's not a number beside West. So it must be much less, It's too close to call. How many? I guess it's just a very small fraction of 1%. Maybe it's 1/10 of 1%. So they didn't show it so much. So in the Michigan multi-candidate polling, Harris wins by 5. And then you have some Senate. There we go. Reverse pinching so we can see what's going on here. Michigan State Senate race. Rogers versus Slotkin. Yeah. Slotkin's up by 6. Baldwin's up by 6 in Wisconsin. It was running against Hovde. Maryland Senate race. And then in Maryland, Gonzalez Research. The Maryland Senate race, Hogan versus also Brooks. Also Brooks is up by 5. Also Brooks 46. Hogan 41. Subtract 41 from 46, you get also Brooks up by 5. Baldwin up by 6. Slotkin up by 6. Pennsylvania Senate, McCormick versus Cassidy, tie. Nevada Senate race, Rosen by 10. Gallego, Gallego. That's all I got. North Carolina, Trump versus Harris. Trump is up by 1. Michigan, multi-candidate. Trump up by 1. When it's, the margin of error is either 1, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. So if any of these things are like plus 1 or 2, it's a statistical tie. I wouldn't count on winning, North Carolina by 1%. Because it could be down by 0.5% as up by 1%. So that's why they have the MOE, the margin of error. Now, when you're adding up a bunch of polls, whether they're by the same pollster or other pollsters, they don't show a margin of error. They're just giving you the average of all the polls, the latest polls. So if it says Harris up by 1, it's really a tie, statistically. If it says Trump up by 1, same thing. It's a statistical tie. Because when the margin of error is 1, you have to look at, 48 to 47. You could say, okay, let's say Trump, up by 1. So he gets 48, Harris gets 47. Well, if the margin of error is 2, Harris could have 49 and Trump have 48. That's where the 2 comes from. And then, otherwise, Trump could have 48 plus 2, that makes him 50. Harris is 47. So, you either add 1, if it's a 1 or a 2, consider it a statistical tie. And, you know, you can't not vote in the Electoral College. You got to vote. All right, so that's Real Clear Politics. That's the way they have stories which you can read that have, written by authors from a variety of different contributing publications. They actually work for the publication. There's an interesting picture right here. What's wrong with this picture? Now, this is a gentleman that's on duty. He's like captain of a ship. But he's firing warning shots at a ship that they're watching. But this is like a protest vote because the telescopic sight that's mounted on that assault weapon is backwards. So that would be considered a protest, of sorts, because you're looking through a sight that's backwards. So instead of it being slightly telephoto, it's slightly untelephoto as a mood. But anyway, he was relieved of his duty. I understand. Let's see. Let's touch this. Commander Cameron Yates was ridiculed when he was photographed firing his rifle with a backwards telescopic sight. Yates was relieved of duty on Friday morning. After only 4 months, these devices have been commercially available. So, I think we pruned this story yesterday. So, but it actually happened 4 months ago. So the U.S. Navy said Yates was removed from his command due to a loss of confidence in his ability So that's the story there. U.S. Navy warship commander was relieved of duty over a loss of confidence. That's all you need is the loss of confidence with your executive staff. 4 months after he was photographed firing a rifle with a backward scope. So apparently, when you're in the military, don't oops. So that's that picture. This may be something you're aware of or not, but Prince William is reportedly holding meetings with King Charles III. Meeting with him in the palace to discuss the future of the throne. Meaning that the king intends to Prince William would be the member of the monarchy that would, take position in the event he would be throned. King Charles III would be dethroned because he passed out or something, health, so there's, as speculations run wild over the 75-year-old monarch's So, Prince William is practicing with the monarch's potential abdication due to his recent health struggles, cancer scares, and all this stuff. So I think he's being treated for some form of cancer. It's not really discussed in this article, so we don't know what cancer it is or where. CNN polls across 6 battleground states find Georgia and Pennsylvania are key toss-up states. They're all important states. Everyone is hoping that the king, where is he? Oop, there he is. King Charles will live on. He's not supposedly deathly sick, but he's got cancer, and his 59-year-old kid. Say 59 or 49. 55. Yeah, it's probably 40. Seems like that was a 9. I think he's 49. Prince William is his firstborn son, so he would step into the role. If something happened to Prince William, then it would be the second-born son, I think. You go down the list. I think Prince Henry is fifth in line to the monarchy. So you'd have to have a lot of other people become totally incapacitated or deceased for Prince Harry. And I have a story here where Prince Harry, and I think they're getting buyer's remorse for jumping out of the monarchy. But, he got married to a Hollywood person and became enamored with that lifestyle. And it created a rift between the two brothers. So, this is a picture in 2018. And you can see Prince William has more decorations on him than his red-headed brother, younger brother. Remember, they're children of Princess Diana. Lord Robert Fellows was married to Princess Diana's sister. Her name was Jane. So here you see the happy couple. The four of them walking through, the square. William and Harry are pictured with Princess Kate and Meghan Markle following the death of Queen Elizabeth II, who was the longest lived monarch. But she passed away in 2022. But I think these two are regretting that they left the monarchy. You know, there's, I don't know. William and Harry, Harry, he kind of like didn't like what was going on, but, all the stuff going on in castle kings and queens and castle chatter, hearing whispers behind closed doors in a house built of stone. I mean, you've got thousands of year history, Gosh, what a mess. And the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is one of their official titles. Have not spoken to William and Kate in nearly 2 years. That's not too smart. Not good politics there. Yeah, there they are. One at a coronation and one at some kind of I think this was probably some interview show. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in the early years of their marriage. Well, it's not so early now. It's 4 or 5 years later. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle expecting a grovel apology. They're going to apologize to each other. They look like they're on the phone. But apparently the Duke and Duchess of Sussex reportedly want Prince and Princess of Wales to apologize first. Because of the royal feud that's going on. Since that's not happened, the royal feud rages on. That's, the several stories here linked together. Sunday, when I was reading articles at 1:41 a.m. I have a condition known as peripheral neuropathy, in which the nerves in my feet are hypersensitized one way or the other. And my feet, right at the very moment I'm taking Lyrica, which the chemical name is pregabalin. I'm taking 300 milligrams 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and night. Morning and night for sure. Midday is optional, depending on how my feet feel. Right now they feel like they're somewhere between cold and almost numb, but not numb. It's like a cross between cold and numb. I liken it to when we would spend a day skiing, in Aspen Snowmass Mountain, and you go out for a day of skiing, and you stop, you know, at something at the top of the hill or halfway down the mountain, and you ski into a ski lodge, and you have a glass of wine or a bottle of beer, and you carry it outside to the patio, and you sit down out in the snow. Can you imagine? 28 degrees. You're all dressed up in, all this fancy high-tech clothing, so you feel perfectly toasty warm. But even though you're toasty warm, my feet would feel, a little, almost numb. They'd be cold and almost numb, but not quite numb. My ankles weren't flopping over because they were numb. They felt cold. But because of the goofy condition with my peripheral neuropathy, which apparently started sooner than I thought, when my feet got cold, they started feeling a little numb. Now, maybe everybody's feet feels a little bit numb when they get cold, but mine feel, more cold than numb. And then it finally, if I don't take the Lyrica for a couple of days, then it turns cold or numb, and it kind of like runs up my ankles too, which that gets scary. So I like to keep it down. So if I take my meds properly, 3 times a day, routinely, then maybe only the bottoms of my feet feel that numb, cold feeling. And we'll use the word numb, cold as a hyphenated word. But that's what peripheral neuropathy, and I should start feeling that in my hands. The only sensation I feel in my hands is they feel a little bit cold, but not numb yet. So when I'm 92, if I'm lucky enough to live that long, maybe my hands would feel numb and cold, and my feet. But anyway, I've been listening to all. This is weird stuff now. I apologize for getting into weird stuff, but I've been listening to Elon Musk. Now, he has the habit of making predictions that don't come out on time. We're supposed to have full self-driving in full operation 3 years ago, and 2 years ago, and 1 year ago. And for some reason, then, we're going to change to the neural net. So then they went to neural network, database kind of programming language. I don't understand. I was a COBOL programmer a long time ago, which is a long way from neural net. But, so I'm looking for pictures of, maybe I can go through this a little faster. Anyway, so Optimus is Elon Musk's robot. Hey Siri, show me some pictures of Tesla's Optimus robot. Let's see what she comes up with. You can see it right there. There it is. Thank you, Siri. Goodbye. Whoops. Siri, show me pictures of Elon Musk's Optimus robot. I want to watch these pictures for a while. So put them in my photo album. Can you do that? Crazy videos. YouTube. No, I don't want crazy. No. Hey Siri, find pictures of Tesla's Optimus robot and put them in my photo album. All right, let's see what this is. No, I guess that's too many things. I don't think they ended up in my photo album, do you? If they are, they'd be here, and they're not here. Okay. All right. Anyway, so you got an idea what they look like, and then they went away. So it's, 2 stages of activity, which is apparently too much for Hey Siri to deal with. It showed us the pictures, but then they wouldn't stay up. They would disappear. But you've seen it's a humanoid-looking robot, and it apparently is going to cost Tesla $10,000 a copy to make them, and it's reported that you could lease it for $150 a month. Oh, I would do that. I was just chit-chatting with Marilyn a couple of nights ago, and I said, Marilyn, so if I could lease a Tesla robot for $200 a month, wouldn't that be a good thing? So that the robot could keep watch for me, being a senior citizen, and you being off to work or shopping or whatever. And if I elected to stay home, then I would have company with my own personal Optimus robot. And I'd be teaching it how to take out the trash, how to bundle up the trash, how to pick up things from the floor, how to do the laundry and fold the laundry. All kinds of things that Optimus can do. It has, like hands, and it will be able to talk to me, and it'll talk back, so we can have a conversation. That should be interesting. And, I could have it sitting over there, and I could have an interview with my own robot and publish it, on YouTube. YouTube Live, you could watch Jimmy talking to his robot, asking it all kinds of questions. And they would be able to go, so what do you think about what's going on over there in Ukraine? Do you have an opinion on what's going on over there in Ukraine? Should we stop? Should we go forward? Should we continue to finance Ukrainian effort against Russia? Or is that money flushed down the toilet? What do you think about that? We'll have to figure out what we're going to call the robot. We don't want to call him Robot. The Tesla people call him Optimus. Optimus Bot. Anyway, so that's that device could be available in a year and a half. So in 2000, a year or a year and a half, sometime in 2025, Tesla may be offering the Optimus Bot out there for somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. And you could do a 3-year lease on that puppy, maybe for $200 a month. Marilyn says yes. I say yes, let's do that. Yeah, I sign up for that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was looking at a chart of the price of gold. And this is a chart going back to February 20th of 2001. And I picked that date because the price of gold was $256. The price of gold today is $2,512 an ounce. In 2001, in February, the price of gold was $256 per troy ounce. That's a 970% growth in 23 years. And you see the price of gold went up and it went down a little bit. And then it's been going up pretty steadily over the last 5 years. 5 years ago, the price of gold was like $1,130 an ounce. That's last year, a year ago. Unbelievable. I don't think I'm saying that right. Let's look at a 1 year chart. There we go, that's a 1 year chart. 1830 an ounce. Yeah. And it's 2509 an ounce. Is that right today? Yeah. Okay. So that means the price of gold has gone up $550 an ounce in the year, which represents a 28% growth rate in the price of gold in 1 year. Now remember, this is gold. This is a precious metal. This is not, a stock company where earnings are up and earnings are down. This is the price of a precious metal. Now, it goes up or down because there are more buyers than sellers, that trade spot gold. The bid price is $24.94. The asking price is $25.09. So if you're gonna sell gold, you're gonna ask $25.09, but you're only gonna get $24.94 because that's what people are willing to pay for it. So there's a gap there of $20 an ounce. So now, when you're buying and selling gold from American Precious Metals Exchange, which is what this this is a live broadcast. You see, so I touch this one right here. This is the price of spot silver, $28.41 an ounce. Spot gold is $25.08.90, $2,500, $2,508 per ounce, 1 troy ounce of gold. Which is up $2.60 for the day, which is, 1/10 of 1%. So the day has just begun. And then then I can go into, gold coins. My favorite bullion coin. So this right here, see, this is a bullion coin. Let's look at this one. So this Indian head bullion coin, 1 ounce, $26.29 per coin. So we're going to read product details. It's 0.9999, 1 ounce. Each coin comes in a protective plastic packaging. And since it's a recognized pure gold this can be bought into like an IRA, so it can be like an investment, and it has to be held by a third party. And American Precious Metals Exchange, APMEX, is qualified to store that gold in your behalf as an IRA investment. So I don't know if every gold coin is like that. I don't think so. These are all. Let's see. Let's look at this one. This one right here. This is American Gold Eagle, 2608 per coin. Product details. Yeah. Produced by the U.S. Mint. So there's a certain quality ring about that. And you got type 1 and type 2. .24 karat gold. Bullion coin. But I don't think it is eligible. Coin highlights. Eligible for precious metal IRAs. Yep. Let's look at specifications. Now, it's 1 troy ounce coin, but the purity is 0.9167. So it is not. It won't say 0.9999, on the coin, but it's a known percentage. It's they have copper and zinc and a couple other metals in there mixed in with it, so that if it goes into circulation, this coin is brilliant uncirculated. That's what BU stands for. When we go back here and you see Gold Eagle coin BU, brilliant uncirculated. This right here. Remember, we go to this product details and I'm pretty, I don't see the, it's U.S. mint mark, so forth. But these gold coins you can put in, the ones that are, that's the front, that's the back. United States of America, E pluribus unum, 1 ounce, 0.9999 fine gold. It's a $50 coin. BU. Brilliant uncirculated. Yeah. So, if you were going to buy this with IRA money, so you would take, if you wanted to buy 10 of these, for example, there's a price here for. This is live TV, folks. Sorry. Let's go back here. There we go. So we're going to check our wire APMEX. So if we're going to buy 10 of them, what's magic about 10? It's a tube. It comes in a one of the ways of the packaging of this coin is it can be in a plastic tube. And the tube's about this tall, let's say 3 inches tall, which has 10 of these stacked up inside a looks like a polyethylene tube with a red cap on it. There are different ways of encapsulating them, or each coin could be encapsulated in a coin capsule, and that is this guy. So you can look at it front and back, but you don't get your fingerprints all over it. Now, the nice thing about gold coins is with your skin oils and so forth, it won't tarnish because gold is very close to being an inert metal. Inert meaning it doesn't oxidize. It doesn't combine with other elements in the periodic table. Silver, on the other hand, will oxidize and will turn colors. It'll tarnish. That's the word called tarnish, which means your skin oils have reacted with the silver on the surface of the silver coin, and then you have to use tarnish remover. If you're familiar with sterling silver place sets, the silver tarnishes. Okay. Buffalo. Brilliant uncirculated. Yep. You can buy 10 of them for $2,638. So if you're going to buy 10 of those, that'd be an investment of $26,380, $385.90. So then you would go to you would say, okay, I'm trying to think of how long they'll hold that price. Whether it's a day or two or something. I've spoken to these folks, and when you speak to them, they tell you how long they'll hold the price for. Let's put it in a cart. Maybe the cart's empty. Well, here's add to cart. So let's count that up to 10. Add to cart. Let's view cart. All right. Does it say anything about how long they'll hold the price? They don't hold it for long. Let's check out. Let's see what that says. Oh, yeah, I knew this. Your pricing will be locked for 9 minutes, 46 seconds and counting down. So apparently, they'll hold it for you for 10 minutes. Okay. So it's, that's how that works. So it's $2,700 round numbers, $27,000. Sorry. So then you call your people that house the rest of your IRA money, and you say, "Will you sell $27,000 worth of my stocks because I'm going to buy $27,000 worth of IRA qualified gold at APMEX." And then they would instruct, they would communicate with the APMEX people. And they would immediately wire out $27,000 to buy that gold. And then APMEX would be the custodian of that portion of your IRA. And you'd have, a certain percentage of your invested IRA in gold. I tried to get Marilyn to go along with that, and she just couldn't quite. So I bought some gold with APMEX and I had it shipped here. It wasn't IRA money. It was money I earned from working with a customer. And, then I had to sell it back because I needed the money. It wasn't IRA money. It was just, I just wanted to get some gold. And I bought some silver and I bought some gold. And just to see how convenient it was to do that. Oh, here. Whoops, there's some images I took of different gold coins. These are not all IRA capable coins, but there's one. Randomir, the Buffalo. And it's the kind of the Gugarand, the Australian $100 coin. King Charles III coronation coin that was minted. This was J.D. Vance. He graduated from Yale Law School with his wife. Which, this is at the Republican National Convention, apparently. And J.D. and Vance, his nickname was revealed. I don't remember knowing what that was. Here looks like a moisture leak on the outside of one of these Raptor engines when Elon was putting some of his satellites in space. I mean, it's like so crazy. Trump shot. Oh my God. Sunday, July 14th edition. Yes. Former President Donald Trump was wounded by a sniper's bullet at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Saturday evening. I saw it. I watched it. It was frightening. You God. He got nipped in the ear and he ducked down. He grabbed his ear and ducked down. Instinctively, he went down. And then 3 or 4 of the Secret Service people jumped on top of him. To give him protection in case the sniper were to continue to fire. But the Secret Service anti-sniper team popped him. Popped the shooter. One shot. Bam. Killed him. That was the end of it. But, the NATO round that this kid was shooting, the 5.56, I believe, is a very small bullet in a very big casing. So there's lots of gunpowder and with a very small bullet. And so the thing travels at like 3,000 feet per second. So in a tenth of a second, that bullet is hitting you even before the sound comes. So it hits you and then you hear it, as opposed to hearing the loud noise of the gunfire, and then phew, it comes later. No. At close range, the bullet hits you first because it's traveling at 2.5 times the speed of sound. If it's going faster than the speed of sound, it means that the bullet is traveling faster than the sound wave would arrive from the compression, of the blast. So it creates a sound wave, like boom. And then, then you hear boom, half a second later. Meantime, you've already been hit by the bullet. Yeah. Anyway, so it's 2:01 p.m. I've been yakking here for an hour and 31 minutes. And I think I've had enough right now. And you probably have had enough right now also. So let me finish this by giving you some uninterrupted epidemic sound instrumental music. Copyright free. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.